Hi, I'm Katie, and welcome to my channel, Heart's Content Farmhouse, where every week I share a tutorial on bread baking, soap making, preserving your own food, and other simple living tutorials. Today, what we are going to be making are super crisp refrigerator dill pickles. We are going to do a small batch of these, and this is a really simple way to sort of dip your toe into the water of preserving your own food at home. You don't need any fancy equipment, no canner, anything like that. I'm going to use mason jars, so we are going to do just 2 quarts of these. This is a quart-sized mason jar. We're going to do 2 of these, but really any container that you have will work, like an old jar from other pickles. As long as it's super clean, it's going to be fine. You don't need to have an official canning jar, although I definitely recommend having them because they are so handy for everything. So when we make pickles and we want them crisp, there is one thing we need to keep in mind. We need a cucumber right off the vine is really crisp. And every step away from that crisp state on the vine that we do to our cucumber is going to make our pickle less and less crisp. So if we pick it and let it sit out, it starts to lose its crispness. If we pick it and slice it and then put it in some type of hot brine, that's going to make it lose its crispness. If, worst of all, we make pickles and then process them in a boiling water canner for 20 minutes, there is no hope of having a crisp pickle. So if you like crisp dill pickles, the only way to do it is to do refrigerator pickles. You really can't have a crisp, processed, shelf-stable pickle unless you are doing a lot of complicated things with different sorts of chemicals, which is fine. You can do it. It's just that it's harder. So the easiest and best way is to do a refrigerator pickle. They do last months in the fridge, so they are still a great thing to know how to learn to make. What I like to do is make the brine first, then go out and pick my cucumbers, so at no point are my cucumbers sitting around getting warm and getting soft. Okay, so for the brine, it's going to be 1 1/4 cup of white vinegar, 3 tablespoons of kosher salt. Make sure you do not substitute table salt. It'll be way too salty. And then 2 tablespoons of sugar. So we're going to bring that to a boil, and that is going to be part of the brine. And then we're going to mix that in with cold water because there's no use heating up the water just to bring it back down to temperature. So you heat the brine, mix it with cold water, and then put all of that in the fridge to chill. So we've made the brine. We've put it in here to chill. It is cold to the touch. And now we go ahead and get our cucumbers. You want to get more than you think you're going to need, because if you have too few cucumbers in your jar, when you go to pour the brine over, the cucumbers won't have displaced enough of the volume and your brine isn't going to be filled all the way up. So pick a lot, and then if you have extras that you don't end up pickling, you can just eat them as cucumbers. But you want to make sure you have enough so that your brine will go all the way up to the top of the jar, if that makes sense. So you can cut them however you want. We like to do either really thin, like sandwich slices, or just halves. But you can do spears, you can do like round slices for burgers. Whatever you want to do is totally fine. And what you want to do is get, so you have your brine that's cold, and then we're going to put a few more spices directly into the jars. So we're going to do peppercorns. So I'm going to get 3 tablespoons of peppercorn. I'm going to do 6 cloves of garlic and just cut them in half. Don't mince them or you're going to have too much of a strong garlic flavor. Just cut them right in half. Then I'm going to get a teaspoon of mustard seed. And if you want to, you can do like a pinch of crushed red pepper. I like them that way, but my family really doesn't. So if you want your pickles to have a little bit of spice, I would add about 1/4 teaspoon of crushed red pepper, or you can leave it out entirely. And then I am also going to do dill. So if you have access to fresh dill, that's going to be best. You're going to want about 20 like sprigs of fresh dill. But if you can't get that, you can just do dry dill weed, and 2 teaspoons of that should be fine. So the spices, I'm just going to mix them into a small bowl, and then I'm going to put half into one quart jar, half into the other quart jar. Then I'm going to put my cucumbers in, stuff them as tightly in there as I can. And then I'm going to take the cold brine and pour it right on top of the cucumbers in the jar. And then immediately put all of this into the fridge to chill. You can eat them right away, but they're not going to have much flavor. I would give them at least a day to chill, and then they will be good in the fridge for at least 2 months. I know that sounds weird because we're not processing them, but the acidity of that vinegar solution that they're in is going to preserve them really well as long as they're kept cold in the fridge. Make 4 quarts or even more of pickles, that's fine. Really, whatever quantity you want to do, the recipe is still going to work. So I have on my blog, I have a printable version of this. I will link to that in the description box below if you want to just print it out and keep a paper copy, and I'll put the full recipe in there as well, whichever one is easier for you. And I also offer a free canning printable planner that has inventory sheets and worksheets to help you figure out what you want to preserve for this year. That is available for free if you're on my email list, so I'll put a link to that too, where you can sign up and get that also. So a great way to get started canning, a really simple, less than 1 hour long project, and I really hope you like the recipe. Let me know if you try it, and if you have any questions, just leave a comment and I will do my best to try to help you. So thank you so much for watching, and have a good day.